Oh,
All right, folks, welcome back to the LA Sparks 365 Network, your 24/7, 365 comprehensive home of the WNBA and your two-time WNBA champion LA Sparks. Welcome in, folks, and thank you for gathering around the round table of WNBA talk and the LA Sparks. Welcome in, folks, to the fabulous forum here to recap tonight's game and talk about the WNBA. We are happy to be joined here, though, by one of the new kids on the block. We are joined here by Crystal Thomas. Follow her on Twitter at PupTent10. That is at PupTent, T-N-T-T-E-N-T, with the number 10 on Twitter from LA County. Crystal, good evening, and welcome to the LA Sparks 365 Network. Thank you so much for joining us. How's it going tonight?
I other than me being a little tired, I'm good.
Well, we are excited to have you on here. I know that we just had a nice little Twitter convo. You were asking if you could come on, and I'll tell you what, we don't really get a lot of other people. It's either myself, Chris, or Shorty, but now that we're getting some more people there, we're really glad to have you on here tonight and, to recap tonight's game and talk about the WNBA and everything else included. But we're very glad you're here, and again, thanks for taking time out of your night to join us here.
Oh, you're welcome. I wasn't doing nothing anyway. Nothing but watching my niece. My niece's birthday, so wasn't doing nothing. Had nothing to do.
Nothing
Might
to
as
do.
well. Yeah, might as well.
Okay, folks, so get involved with the program here, folks. You guys can hit us up on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are at LA Sparks 265, at Callum3 for myself. It's at CALLANMAC with the number 3. Sounds familiar from last night. Or again, folks, hit up, or you guys can give Crystal some love on Twitter. Her handle again is at PupTent10. That is at Pup, P-U-P-T-E-N-T with the number 10. And if you guys want to use a hashtag, the hashtag is the Fab Form. Crystal, to the game tonight. Oh my goodness, a whitewashing that I kind of had a feeling was going to happen, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. The Mercury come in and pretty much turtle wax the floor clean with the LA Sparks. 93-73. The Mercury basically put the game away after quarters 1 and 2. Crystal, there's been a lot that's occurred over the past 2 days with the game yesterday with the Liberty that came down to the wire, then tonight the balloon popped, I think. Give us your take on tonight's game that just, I think, is already down the drain, and a lot of people have sort of already forgot about it, like I have.
I'm trying to can you hear me? I'm trying to make sure you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. You're good.
Well, tonight's game, I don't know. I wasn't expecting much, honestly, going into the game. I mean, there wasn't that much to really look forward to, honestly. As fortunate as it is, I wasn't really expecting us to do nothing, especially against Phoenix. Phoenix is a top dog right now. They're just running through everybody. It's crazy. Like I've never seen Phoenix is actually scary right now. It's kind of they're looking like how Minnesota was the 2 years that they won the championship, and it's looking the same way.
I totally agree. I mean, this is a frightening, a team that will give you nightmares and that will make you break out into sweats like I do sometimes at night, because this team, I think, is just completely reloaded. I mean, if there was no room for error for Brittany Griner in year 1, she's been better than her rookie season. And Diana Taurasi seems like she's getting younger. I mean, she drops 32 in the game back on the 6th of this month, and okay, a technical, gave, Neck a nice little forearm pop. It's typical white mamba, dirty Diana Taurasi, but she still plays the game. I mean, it literally looks like she still plays the game like she's back when I was, 10 years old watching her play at Gamble Pavilion her senior year at UConn. I mean, she just goes out there and she's a 5-tool player. I talk about 5-tool players a lot in baseball, but if there's a 5-tool player in basketball, I mean, she's got to be the number 1, because, I mean, she has basically been the dark horse for Phoenix, and come on now, she's playing back home where she's from. She probably, Crystal probably grew up watching the Sparks when she was younger, many years ago perhaps, and what, she'd come out fired up, and she always does. But I'll tell you what, if Phoenix, I might say it here, that if Phoenix does not win the title this year, it might be one of the bigger, probably one of the bigger collapses, probably in all of league history. I don't know if that's a big statement, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Crystal, as much as we're both Sparks fans, and I'm neutral towards every team, but I don't think I've seen the Sparks get this just get completely whitewashed, turtle wax, Mr. Clean, Cloroxed on their home floor like they did tonight in many years. And this is a Phoenix team that possibly might break that 18-game winning streak record. Any more thoughts?
They might. I mean, the Sparks was playing like how our practice team was out there today. They're playing like little JC team out there today. But it's getting kind of ugly. I still have high confidence though, because that's my team. I've been with the Sparks because I'm originally from Chicago, so Chicago didn't have a team. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. Like Chicago would have had a team,
Exactly.
I still think there's who am I kidding? There probably is no chance, but I gotta still say there's a chance.
You know what? You know what? You and I, we've already preached it on Twitter. We said amen and did the sign of the cross that they make the postseason. So I know that we're on the same page. But Crystal, let's go to Candace Parker real quick. I know that I'm sure you saw that I was, basically on cloud nine and still am, that I finally met the MVP in person last night at the game that I went to. I know she didn't play last night, but I don't know. I know that, I'm kind of very defensive about Candace when it comes to things about her, that I'll read on Twitter or stuff from either our fans or opposing fans. But yes, I think I don't know if it was you, but I know someone said that it looked like she kind of gave up. I think she was just out of gas. I think she just ran out of gas in that second half. She went cold. And again, coming off last night, finally taking a day off for once, and like I said on the last show, she probably has more injuries that she has accumulated over the whole season that we have no knowledge about except the knee. I know that we've had a talk of a hip injury game one in Seattle. The fingers are still wrapped up, the wrist has been wrapped up, the ankle's been a problem. So, but like I say a lot, she's built like Kobe, she's built like LeBron. She'll go out there and play if she's in a whole body cast. That happens on Saturday. But your thoughts about Candace's play? No, it was rough for her. 14. She just finished with 14 points. But your thoughts still about her play tonight, though, coming off of last night, taking last night off against New York.
I am guilty of sending a Candace Parker might need to sit down tweet, but not. I get the injuries, I get the frustration because I've been there, but the game wasn't going anywhere. So I feel like we should have just sat her down. She was kind of, and I get the injury thing. And she was kind of just lagging on anyway. So I was kind of like, just might as well sit her down. There's no need to. Two players already got hurt anyway tonight, so there was no need to even keep that going. You saw KT with the hip injury, and Harding with the ankle, so it's kind of like, just sit her down. We don't need that. Not now in this whole season.
I totally agree. With the score being that way, you could have done something. Whether take her out, and I'm kind of not shocked that Sandy Brondell did not take Taurasi and or Griner out of the ball game, because it looked like when those two left, LA got back on track. But when they got back in, they shut them down like they were supposed to tonight. Going to the numbers real quick, folks, Final line scores for the Sparks. Nneka Ogwumike leading the way, 23 points. Parker 14, Lavender 16, Beard 8, Tolliver 7, Wiggins only had 3, Harding 2. Gruda Harrington held scoreless tonight, and Gruda only played 6 minutes of action. And I'll tell you what, Crystal, this kind of was a typical LA Phoenix, long time rivalry game where there was some chippiness. And above all, let's go to the technical fouls real quick that occurred back in the first quarter of this game. Okay, but Taurasi one was pretty evident. You had, the forearm shot to Nneka Ogwumike's face. But the one that I thought was unacceptable was Candice Dupree of, basically, you're asking for it by doing this to the officiating crew. Now, I will say this. It was pretty bad on both ends tonight. Now, Taurasi's was pretty much academic. You can't go up there and clothesline somebody on a basketball court. But Dupree's, though, was very, very unacceptable and uncalled for. You're just, doing that, you're just basically, giving the official more, putting it more in his head, if you're going to keep giving the business, you're going to get pounded sometime soon. So your thoughts about the two technical fouls, and also that they kind of reduced and changed the call on the Taurasi technical from a flagrant to a common. So we'll get your take on those two calls.
Come on, it's Diana Taurasi. We all know. I'm a fan of Diana Taurasi. We all know Dirty Diana gets dirty. Hence the name Dirty Diana. But that's just the way Taurasi plays. She's a veteran. She does like little veteran moves. Like I don't know if you noticed, but when she's coming off the screen, she'll kind of hold the person that she's coming off of the screen on. So while she's giving it to the open man, she kind of grabs her arm a little bit. It's a little veteran move. Maybe I might have to pick that up for my game or something. I don't know. Maybe that might work. And the Candice Dupree foul, honestly, I think that came out of frustration.
Yeah.
It was more of she didn't like the call that went the first way. DeWanna Bonner tried to, DeWanna Bonner's skinny, but she tried to bump her out the way. But, DeWanna Bonner, looks like a needle, so I doubt that little bump would do very much to Candice Dupree. But I think it was out of frustration. That's all it was. Because if you normally look at Candice Dupree, she's kind of quiet. She doesn't really get rowdy, doesn't really get wild like that. That's normally Diana's thing. So I guess she said, I'm going to one-up you. I'm going to one-up you and do it better. You're going to have a technical foul competition. I'm going to win. Might as well. I wish I would have had the ref cam. The ref cam, I used to love seeing them get cursed out with that ref cam. That was entertaining. I would never ref, but...
I think that was the best part of last year when they had it in the All-Star game was the ref cam, and poor Lamont Simpson, who's one of my favorite referees out there, wearing that camera all last season. To the Mercury real quick, DeWanna Bonner, 22 points, Candice Dupree, 10, BG and Dirty Diana Taurasi, 18 apiece, Penny Taylor, 12, and Erin Phillips only had 3. Then I played 13 minutes, Misty Bass, 2, and Shea Murphy had 8. I'll tell you what, Crystal, I said this to you last show, there is really no team out there that can stack up bodies on Brittney Griner. I even said, next time LA plays Phoenix, you might as well put all 3 6'4" bodies. That'd be Parker, Ogwumike, and Lab. Put them all on Griner and triple team her and try and trap her somewhere. This is basically like going up against, an uncaged tiger, basically, you're facing every time. And, she started hot, finished 8 or 9 from the field. But, that's one reason why I think that Phoenix might get over the hump this year, either once they finally knock out Minnesota for once, which I think the entire league would finally say, oh, yes, finally, no more Minnesota winning the championship this season, is Griner's size. And no team really can match up man-to-man or woman-to-woman on Griner.
Not since Cambage left. Not at all.
Yeah, ever since Liz Cambage, we've heard some talk that T-Wow wants Cambage to L.A. Apparently, if she comes back after the FIBA tournament next season, we'll see what occurs out of that. But again, DeWanna Bonner, player of the game for the Mercury, 22 points, and of course Nneka Ogwumike, 23 points, the player of the night for the Sparks. We'll get to the Arena Stats folks again. The officials tonight were Roy Gulbine, Thomas Nunez, and Tony Dawkins. Total attendance tonight, not really mind-blowing, but you kind of expect folks tonight. Tonight's attendance, 10,047 at Staples Center. Time of the game, 1 hour and 57 minutes. Crystal, we'll get to one more game in the WNBA real quick, which actually, in spite of the loss, actually helped out the Sparks tonight, in spite of the Sparks' loss. The New York Liberty got past the Seattle Storm in overtime in Seattle tonight, 84-80. Capped off by a 9-5 OT session. That loss by Seattle keeps them 2 games behind LA for the 4 seed in the Western Conference. But Shorty, I'm so sorry, Crystal. But Crystal, because if it's not Chris, I normally have Shorty in here. So I knew that was going to happen sooner or later. We'd have some screw up here with us two going on. But
hey, I screwed up earlier today too. Facebook moment. It happens.
But Crystal, to the Liberty, who have been up and down, and they sort of kind of gone this way a bit. Now they're back to where they should be back in the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. But they helped out the Sparks tonight. But again, it's Tina Charles doing the dirty work again for the Liberty. She went off last night against the Sparks. She finishes tonight with 18 points. But it's Cappie Pondexter, who missed part of the game in New York back at MSG with an Achilles injury, with 20. But the biggest story tonight, though, is Tamika Johnson. The 5'4", 5'3" Tamika Johnson drops a triple-double in the loss tonight in the game for her tonight. She had 13, 11, and 10 this evening, and a great game played by her. But Crystal, to New York, though, who's sort of been reborn here as of late. They help out the Sparks with the win tonight over the Storm. But your But your thoughts, though, about the Liberty kind of getting back where they kind of belong, though, which is back up in that top 4 area of the Eastern Conference playoff picture.
I'm not surprised. New York's supposed to be at the top of the East Division anyway. That on paper, just like the Sparks on paper, that team was looking amazing. And, I mean, obviously, you know, being on paper is not enough. The team's supposed to be number 1. Atlanta's taking over that spot. I don't know how, you know, with the situation with Michael Cooper, I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, you have Tina Charles and Cappie Pond next to your team. You're supposed to be, you know, knocking out that division. Tina Charles, not Tina Thompson. I don't know where that came from. Tina Charles.
We love Tina Thompson, though, don't we?
Yeah, Tina Thompson's cool. Tina Charles is a double-double every night, and I guess I think it's one of those situations where they were trying to find the kind of play style they were going to have with her. Because if you think about it, New York really consists of 3 people, in my mind, you know, Lynette Pearson, Tina Charles, and Cappie Ponder. So not saying that Cruz is bad or anything like that, but Bill Laimbeer had an idea when he put the team together, and it really wasn't working at first. But, hey, we call him Bad Luck Bill. You know what I'm saying? Bad Luck Bill gave his team some bad luck. That's what I would say. But I don't know. I don't see New York going that far. I mean, I don't even think Cappie's been out this first round with that team, if I can recall.
I think you might be correct on that side of the story, and if you folks know me very well, you know that I do not have a liking for 2 particular people on that Liberty club, which would be the head coach and one Lynette Pearson. If you don't know why, go back and rewatch the Sparks shock brawl in 2008.
Candace Parker just had an itch, and she was trying to scratch it. That's all there was. It was an itch. They needed help. They were playing Twister. You know, you didn't see little red dots on the floor.
That's all.
Yeah, they were playing Twister.
But Crystal, we'll go to the Storm real quick here. Who? Oh my goodness, it's been an up and down year for Seattle. Sue Bird gets injured before the game today. Has a bit of a stiff neck, doesn't play tonight, nor does Angel Robinson or does Angel Robinson's Jenna O'Hay has no points tonight. You know, Camille Little has 22. I mean, it's been a very, very, more so been this way with Seattle this season. And my big concern, though, is how much longer, though, Crystal, can Sue Bird do this? I mean, her age, too. I mean, considering, that we know that Hammond's retiring, you kind of wonder about Diana and Sue and Delisha and Swin. It's like how much longer can these age veterans continue to do this on a day-to-day basis? And Sue's injuries this season, and also knowing too, Crystal, that there's no Lauren Jackson this year. I mean, in your view, what's been the bigger story concerning the Storm's, up and down and very, very poor play this entire season?
I mean, you can go with Lauren Jackson, but Crystal Langhorne's been holding it down for a little bit. So I'll say the point guard play. I mean, they have a point guard in Johnson, and I think Strickland's a guard too, and it seems like they're inconsistent. You're laughing at me. I don't know why. It's cool. It's cool.
It's not. Hey, it's not nothing concerning you, folks. Reason being, I've been checking TweetDeck lately, folks, and TweetDeck is what I've been using to do things during the games and stuff, folks. If you don't know that, before Candace Parker, folks, I've been a bigger fan of Diana Taurasi because I watched her play in person at UConn and how I got started with women's basketball. The DT fan page on Twitter sent this out to me about half an hour ago. They said, "We've got some space on the Merc wagon. You sure you don't want to hop on, LOL?" I said, "I'm probably the lone LA fan that doesn't hate Phoenix, so sure, why not?" At SoulSnatcher1 tweets, this gets better here. "No, don't do it. Stay loyal." Smiley face. And then the fan page replies back, "Can I call you Deb? There's still some space left." Folks know me well. I'm more so, folks, root more so for individual players than teams. LA's my main team, folks, but if you don't know, but I actually do root more so for players that I've watched over the past 10 years playing. So, Crystal, in no fashion was I laughing at your response about Seattle. It's just this has been going on for the past half an hour. So that's the best part about it.
I was just playing with you. I'm not that sensitive. I know. I seen it too. I was actually laughing at that too. That's what I was looking at. I'm looking at the timeline. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That might be my cardinal sin where I might rest in peace sometime soon if that happens. I know some of the fans might be, no, you're not going to be doing that. You know what? And of course, someone that couldn't make it, Crystal, your best friend out there, Shorty Mama 24 said, great show tonight with Crystal. She is cracking me up already. So you're doing your job, it sounds like.
You know, I just want to give a thanks, you know, because the world wasn't ready for this yet. This is exclusive, okay? Not everybody gets this exclusivity. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made that up. It's gonna be a word today, okay? This right here is magic. This is what the world needs to see. We talk about basketball. We have fun. You see this? This is okay. Shorty. Thank you for. See, Shorty actually put me up to this. She was
asking for it, I think.
Yeah, like I didn't have a problem with this, but see, Shorty knows how funny I am. We go Google Hangout sometimes. You know, she was the one who put me up to this, so you should thank her.
Well, I can thank you both for doing that, and Crystal, so far you've hit a home run so far. So let's not kill the momentum right now. We'll get back on track real quick. Back to the Sparks game, folks. Again,
we were talking about Seattle.
Yeah, we were at overtime in Seattle. We got sidetracked for a bit, talking about the final score in Seattle in overtime: Liberty 84, Seattle Storm 80 in that game. Back to the game at hand, though. The Mercury routed the Sparks 93-73 for their 14th consecutive victory. And Crystal, we knew it'd be ugly. We just didn't think it'd be this ugly, though, and that is what the big thing is. Now let's turn the page and get off of tonight's game. Now let's look ahead to Saturday, when not only do we celebrate Crystal Mancey's 21st birthday here on the network, but the Sparks play the Seattle Storm in Seattle at 1 p.m. back on Telemundo Cable Sportsnet. And Crystal, this is probably a game that LA is kind of saying, finally, a game we could probably win for once. But at the same time, though, a few teams have not been, beefcake victories over the past couple nights, like New York. And this game wasn't even close to being a beefcake. This was more so a climbing to the peak of Pikes Peak, perhaps. But you know that the Sparks, though, have that 3-0 head-to-head record, and they've got the series win plus the tiebreaker should these two clubs meet or tie for the fourth spot in the Western Conference postseason picture. Your thoughts and a little preview about Saturday's game up there at the Key Arena in the Emerald City.
I actually think if we get lucky and pull this game off, I think Penny Toll's going to take a big relief. Penny Toller, or as we like to call her, Grandma Toller.
Now, I haven't heard that one. I've named her 1 Cent Toller, and I've heard Wiggy Toller, but I've never heard Grandma Toller yet till tonight, so that's a good one.
Well, Penny Toller is out there looking like a parent volunteer coach right now. But we're going to let that slide. We're going to let, hey, we're going to let that one go. But volunteer coach Penny right now, she's going to, she's stressed. I could tell. I feel like right now she's coaching for her job. I honestly, I don't think Ross should have been fired anyway. I think we should have gave her a chance. I feel like the Ross firing just made everybody in that locker room persona go way down. It doesn't feel like that locker room is as giddy as it was. Even when they were losing, I still feel like there was still some type of, fun going on in there, chemistry going on there, and it's like it's not really, it's first you have a coach that's asking players what you want to do as far as plays and running plays, and that can only go so far. As we keep seeing, they lost 2 in a row. That's not gonna win any championships anytime soon.
And unfortunately, folks, I just happened to turn my head to my television behind me over here, and I'm stuck seeing the Sparks playing the Mercury as the repeat again, folks. So that channel is still on, so I can't reach for my remote because it's not behind me or anything, folks. So the struggle is real. You got yours, I don't have mine, so that's what it is. But I'm unfortunately stuck seeing the Sparks get whitewashed again right now on my television. Back to TweetDate real quick here, Crystal. This is really really has been a fun night. The fan page from the Mercury saying having some fun with LA Sparks fans. They aren't all bad. Well, I'm not all bad because I really don't hold grudges against any team in the league at all. Because there's a few factors, folks. We know that. I'm not going to go back into detail about that, but we know that there's some things that I do that we don't hold grudges against people. And there's Crystal on Twitter saying we aren't. So we will. We greatly appreciate that we do have some interaction here, folks, though, with some of the fans of the night on the TweetDeck and Twitter sphere real quick. Crystal, I wanted to get your comments real quick about Becky Hammon finally calling it a career after such a great, what's been a very, very great career for herself, and the comeback, knockdown comeback story, undrafted out of Colorado State, goes to New York, goes to San Antonio, and has done so many great things, and we kind of knew her time was running up because of some injuries that she's had over her career. Of course, we had the frightening ACL injury last year at Staples Center that ended her season. So, I mean, in your mind, Crystal, how will you remember Becky Hammon for her WNBA career?
She's in one word, a tough cookie, I would have to say. Becky Hammon's been doing it for a while. She's one of the original, players that was still left. And, I kind of figured it was coming. She had injuries and the age. It just didn't mix well. So I'm actually waiting for when Delisha Moon-Jones hangs it up. I think that's going to be soon. I'm not trying to jinx nothing, but I think that's going to be soon, too. There's only going to be 38. How much can you really do? And Achilles injuries are hard to come back from for anyone, no matter the age. It doesn't matter at all. So I think we're going to be seeing a few more of our fellow old WNBAers retiring soon. It's going to be sad, but that's when you start singing. You hold up your signs and stuff. I would sing, but I don't. The world's not ready for that voice yet. So,
it's going to be depressing. When you finally do see Sue and Lauren, Diana, Delisha, Swin finally call it a career, because that you've basically in some fashion, anyone that's watched WNBA, I've watched for the past 10 years, that you grew up though watching these players play, like Lisa, and Tina Thompson before they finally retired. And I wasn't a big WNBA fan. I watched some of the games, back when LA beat Charlotte in New York, and I grew up, with Tina and Cynthia and Cheryl Swoops, and Lisa and Delisha and Nikki Teasy, of course. My favorite year still is '02 when she beat New York at the buzzer. That's still a highlight of my young WNBA career, watching at least. And then you move on a bit more when now you've got Sue, you've got Lauren Jackson, you've got Diana and Delisha and Swin Cash still playing after all these years. It's going to be very depressing when you see your favorite players that you grew up watching for so long finally call it a career, because it just won't feel the same without having their presence at all, on the court. And I know firsthand when Lisa Leslie did retire that it just seems like, it's been different. Weird. It's been weird and different that you have not seen her play. We're not seeing her play, and that, the torch was passed from her to Candace Parker, after she retired in 2009. So we wish Becky Hammon nothing but the best in her future endeavors. And who knows? We'll probably see her on the bench somewhere soon with the Stars or the Spurs, or maybe she'll be calling the games on ESPN2 pretty soon. And I know she'll be a lot better than Rebecca Lobo. That's for damn sure, Crystal.
Leave Rebecca Lobo alone. She can't help it.
I can't help it. My mom loves her because my mom used to watch Rebecca play at UConn, so I'll cut her some slack. I got one quick tweet here from Elisa at WillowFreak11, says, "Laughing so hard, my mom is walking around the house singing the Sparks opening song, We Going Hard." Oh, boy. That's a good one. And one more from Shorty Mama 24. She says, "The world will never be ready to hear you sing, Crystal. Hashtag don't do it."
Shorty's a hater. You don't want me to get my Whitney Houston on.
I don't have any pipes anyway, so I'm just gonna sweep that one under the rug because I have no singing pipes whatsoever.
She's a hater. Oh, going back to the chick who tweeted about the Spark song, that's the only thing that is going hard for them right now.
That is basically it.
You know, maybe we should have kept April Sykes on the team. I was telling people April Sykes was going to be an all-star, but they didn't want to believe me. They never want to believe me because I said that we kept Abdi, but we couldn't keep April Sykes. I'm just saying,
And
April Sykes is a
I don't mean to
okay.
interrupt, but I think a viewer just turned off the network because you just brought up April Sykes' name, and I think that was Shorty, and I know she's probably going to say something on Twitter. So I will be prepared to read that tweet sometime soon about
She's
April
an April Sykes
Sykes.
fan. What are you talking about? She knows April Sykes the greatest. You know, I'm gonna join. I would be the only person. But I'm gonna join the April Sykes fan club. We walk around with my 24 Sparks jersey. You know, all of that. You know, April Sykes. If you're watching, which I know you aren't, you're okay with me. Okay, you're okay. Just don't shoot so much, but you're okay. Leave the shooting to all the other people and stuff. And Shorty's a hater. She knows she like April Sykes. April Sykes is one of the greatest Sparks ever. All right, she's up there with Nikki Teasley and Lisa Leslie and all of them. She's the GOAT Spark. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. She's way up there, like Abby's hairline. You know, up there. I like Abdi was nice. Abdi was nice when I met her. I like Abdi. I just hope she's not watching because, you know, I don't want nobody. But I like Abdi. Abdi's cool.
I did get Faria's autograph last night, and then she didn't really say anything because we know that she's still learning the English ropes, and she's getting it from all the bad sources. So hopefully someone can help her out like ASAP. But we are.
She was nice.
I'm anxiously awaiting to get the tweet from Shorty Mamba 24 about Crystal bringing up April Sykes. So we'll wait for that to come sometime soon.
Look up those stats, right? Look at those April Sykes stats. I'm telling you, looking like a little Kobe out there, looking like a little Shaq. I'm telling you that you put her in the starting lineup, you be winning games. I'm telling you, that's all you need. April Sykes. We gonna work out a deal.
We will look up the stats in a few minutes, perhaps. But again, we'll recap the scores real quick here, folks, in the WNBA here on the Fab Forum. 30-84, Storm 80 in overtime, and Phoenix 93, Los Angeles 73. Kyle McClurg and Crystal Thomas joining you folks here. It's been a very, very fun and very, very exciting and a very awesome edition of the Fabulous Forum here so far. Crystal, we're going to get real quick to the what right now I think is already a done deal, which is the WNBA race for most valuable player. As much as I would love to say it would be my go-to girl CP3, I'm sorry, but the Maya Clinic is open for business. I don't think that anybody can take that award away right now from Maya Moore, who has played out of her damn mind all season. And I'll tell you what, I don't think there's one player that's been, hotter in every game and like she has. I mean, you can look at the list. I mean, the list that they have here on this poll question on WNBA.com is Maya Moore, Angel McCoughtry, Diana Taurasi, CP3, and Skylar Diggins. And honestly, Crystal, I don't think anyone's going to be taking that award away right now from Maya Moore anytime soon. But if you had to make one vote right now on July 24th for MVP, Crystal Thomas's vote for WNBA MVP goes to who and why?
I'm gonna have to go with Maya Moore. I mean, she's consistently dropping like how many 30-point games? I think she has 11 30-point games or something like that, 11 or 12 around there. She's doing that consistently, and no one else other than April Sykes can do it like that. But consistently, she's the only one that's been dropping like 30-point games, and her teams are just honestly, it's probably going to be Maya's team soon. Lindsay Whalen's kind of giving it to her. Simone's injured, so I mean, it's kind of she's putting that team on her back. I hope she got a good workout in because they're gonna be on there for a while. Because I'm not expecting them to win the championship, but they're going far. They're going pretty far. I have to be honest. They're gonna go far. They're gonna go farther than. So.
I think Minnesota is still the cream of the crop of the Western Conference. They've kind of did a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but. I think if anyone bets against Maya Moore right now, I'm going to say you're flat out crazy. I mean, Candace Parker has not had the type of season she had last year. Taurasi could be a MVP favorite. I have no idea if she will be though, nor do I think she is. Angel McCoughtry maybe not, but I think so far it's Maya Moore, and I did call it, folks. Here's the tweet here from Shorty Mama 24. She said, "She can't be serious. Hashtag stop Crystal 2014. I'm in tears." Uh-oh. What do you got to say for yourself, Crystal?
They're hating on my greatness. They know April Sykes is the best thing since sliced bread. She's like she's pretty much like Kool-Aid and chicken. You put it together, and it just goes that well. She's like fly on, shut your mouth. You put it on that, you put it down there. I'm telling you, it's buckets. She may only give you 3 points, but it's still a bucket. It's more than what a lot of these Sparks players have been shooting. Because sometimes they can't hit, a sand with a beach ball.
Harding.
Hey, not just her, but yes. Yeah, I can't say. Yeah, you're right. I can't say nothing about that. I was trying to find something nice to say, but yeah. I mean, her hair looked good. If that counts for something.
Unfortunately, style points don't count whether you got nice-looking braids like Parker or nice hairline by Lindsey Harding. That, unfortunately, does not count for points on the scoreboard, which, at the end of the day, does matter. But there have been some good looks, but not the good looks the Sparks have been looking for. Again, as they get drubbed tonight by 20, 93-73. They get defeated tonight by the longtime rival Phoenix Mercury. Crystal, some depressing news, sort of, but former Sparks head coach, current Dream coach Michael Cooper, taking a temporary leave of absence from the club for the next 2 weeks due to early stage tongue cancer. He should be back within the next 2 weeks. His son, Michael Cooper II, said he is doing well and has made a full recovery. But, I'll tell you, Crystal, I mean, without Coop, with the Lakers back in the Showtime days, which I don't think either of us were alive to witness that great, probably one of the greatest eras in NBA history. The 5 titles they won in that era, and his great play, and of course what he did with the Sparks in 01 and 02. Finally getting his team over that hump, which was the dynasty. The Houston Comets in 01 and 02, and came back to coach during Parker's rookie year for the next few seasons. And I'll tell you what, Crystal, Crystal, San Diego just had a cancer-related death of our main icon in Tony Gwynn, the greatest Padres player of all time. And now that this is going through with Michael Cooper, it's kind of depressing that this is going on now. And I'll tell you what, Coop did a lot of great things with the Lakers, but not only that, Crystal, the best part about it, not only did he win with the Lakers, he won with the Sparks too, and that's the best part about it too. Is he's probably one of the greatest Lakers of all time, but also we remember him best for 01 and of course my favorite year 02 because we win at the buzzer. Thanks a lot, Nikki Teasley. But your thoughts though about Coop and his diagnosis with the cancer and his recovery?
Well, one thing, this is gonna make a lot of people mad. I am not a Laker fan. Sorry. But the Coop situation, it does suck. I found that out. I think it was a Tuesday, and I think it was actually the same day because my mom she doesn't have cancer, thankfully, but my mom actually had a surgery to remove a tumor-like cyst from her brain, so I can understand the severity of it and the scary situation. So I get it. It's not fun, especially if you've ever been through a situation like that. It's not cool. I wish him the best. Hope he recovers really fast. Coop is a legend out here. What can I say? I mean, he's the Lakers show. They wouldn't be Showtime Lakers without him. We wouldn't have those 2 championships without him. I remember when that's when he had hair too. That was a long time ago. Man.
Just like when Kobe had hair in the early 2000s when I first started watching and playing basketball for 1 year before I had more traveling violations than points in my 1 year of basketball play, in case anyone out there is wondering about my horrible basketball career that lasted 1 season.
Cool. You can't be that bad.
It was pretty bad. I was 6 years old. I was one of the tar kids on the team, but I sucked, and I will say that right here and now at this point in time. But again, Michael Cooper, diagnosed with early stages of tongue cancer, will be out for the next 2 weeks from the Atlanta Dream, who still hold on to first place in the Eastern Conference. The games tomorrow, folks, in the WNBA will include the Shock at the Mystics at 4 p.m. pack time. Then at 4:30, the struggling Chicago Sky face Atlanta at 4:30. And then the Stars will take on the Lynx at 5. Games on Saturday, a full slate it looks like. I believe they've got a few here Indiana will be at San Antonio at 5 o'clock. New York at Phoenix at 7 o'clock. Can the Liberty stop the Mercury 14-game winning streak? And, of course, the Sparks will be at Seattle at 1 p.m. pack time at the Key Arena. And, again, folks, the final scores once more from tonight's action in the WNBA again. In overtime, New York 84, Seattle 80, and in 40 minutes of play, Phoenix 93, Los Angeles 73. Crystal, real quick before we close up the night, let's kind of talk about the All-Star game. I had a great time watching another All-Star game like I did last year. I was really, really happy with the game this past year, last year at least, because it sort of was a different sort of game. You know, we had different camera angles. Of course, we had Lamont Simpson in the ref cam. We had Holly Rowe doing interviews during the game with players on the sidelines and stuff. This year, a huge crowd at the Purple Palace, the U.S. Airways Center down there in Phoenix. A game that went to overtime. It saw the East win by 1 this year. And Shawnee Showtime Schimmel is the game MVP. I'll tell you what, another great All-Star game, Crystal, again, for the WNBA. I mean, I thought the best part, though, was the energy and the vibe during pregame warm-up, during pregame intros on ESPN, and how all the players were doing some sort of crazy dance. And, of course, the best one, I don't care what anyone says, was either DT doing the X Factor or, come on, I'm going to say it, folks, you got to go back to Parker breaking out the Ace 3 guns, folks, which she completely whitewashed McCautry in that gun show last year in Connecticut. But, Crystal, your thoughts, though, about the game this year? Another great played All-Star game that went down to overtime this year that saw the Eastern Conference win, and, of course, probably the early candidate for Rookie of the Year in Shawnee Schimmel taking home All-Star Game MVP honors.
Well, you had a favorite dance. My favorite bad dance was, I'm going to call her Shoni no Nene Schimmel, because we can't act like we didn't see her try to Nene before she came out there. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but she tried to Nene. But I wish Brittany Griner had more dunks. That's what I was really wanting to see. I wanted to see an alley-oop or something, a 360 behind the back, between the. I wanted to see something. She was supposed to get funky. But the game was really good. It was really competitive. It was probably one of the most competitive All-Star games I've seen in a while. Went to overtime. I've never been that excited about an All-Star. I've been excited for an All-Star game, but I've never. Normally, I just watch. This time, I was actually kind of cheering. I caught myself by surprise. I don't know. I think there should have been a co-MVP, though. I think Shoni Schimmel and Skylar Diggins probably should have shared it. I feel, what was it like? The score was 138, 137 or something like that. If I remember, 130, something around there. I can't remember, but it was a pretty competitive game. It was one of the most competitive games I've seen. I wish All-Star Weekend was longer, though. I wish they added more stuff to it instead of just the game. I wish they would go back to how it was when they used to have the three-point contest, and they used to have the skills challenge like the NBA does. They need to go back to that.
If anyone's wondering about the replay of the Sparks game, it's 34-15 Phoenix, in case you want to flip over to Sports and to rewatch this whitewashing and turtle waxing and Mr. Cleaning and Cloroxing of a game that was tonight. If anyone out there is concerned about it, I know no one really does care, but I thought I would just throw that out there in case anyone's bored right now and you want to watch something on television. You can go back and watch the Mercury and Sparks game.
You don't want to.
I'm on Sportsnet. What do you got?
We don't want to relive that moment. I forgot about it. What happened? Who played tonight?
Total amnesia. Total amnesia. We have no idea what happened in that game tonight, folks. We just know that two teams played and they're rivals, and apparently I've been sedated, and apparently I've been moved over to the to the Mercury side of the spectrum, I think, thanks to the Diana Taurasi's Bun fan page on Twitter. So I guess that occurred tonight as well, and everything else included. So I guess I've kind of moved to the dark side of the Force, apparently. I guess I have no idea, but we'll work on getting that resolved at a later time. And Crystal, before we get out of here for the night, you got any lasting thoughts about tonight? And we'll get your last comments about tonight's game, and we'll get you tonight's game and then Saturday's game in Seattle, and then we will wrap up for the night. What do you got?
We'll start with tonight's game. There was flashes of things. For KT to only have 7 points, that was a very active 7 points. I thought she had more than that. I could have sworn she had like 12 tonight or something. But I mean, you saw flashes, but it just seems like they're not responding to anything Toller says, and it's kind of you kind of feel bad on one hand. Like you kind of want to give him a big hug. You kind of want to tell him it's okay, sing kumbaya. You know, you kind of want to bring them back to what made them think basketball's fun. Because right now it looks like they're playing it more as a job. And even when they were losing with Ross, you could see that there was still a little bit of fun in there. But now it's just kind of
a little too serious, I think.
Yeah, there's no fun there. There's nobody in that locker room looks like they're communicating well with each other right now. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the locker room, obviously. But it looks like there's like a very small lack of communication. Looks like there's not enough. Well, there's trust there, obviously, because the ball's going around. But it looks like there's not enough like commitment right now because of everything that's going on. And I can't blame them. You know, it's an unfortunate situation. I can't say that I blame them. But you can see a little bit. There was flashes, and then, you know, players went to sleep, and then they never really woke up again. You know, i.e. Elena Beard. So it's tough right now. You could tell they're not having fun.
You know, I don't know if it qualifies as a hug, but I did give Candace a shoulder bump last night after I got through my autograph line last night, because I did see her twice after the game at the lockup, at the tunnelway, and then after the game, of course, and, you know, talked to her for a few minutes. So, I mean, you kind of have to have some sympathy / empathy for this club right now. And, you know, I do know a few people. You know, Rashad Jackson was asking me, you know, a few days ago, you know, he's kind of doing like this, you know, it's like, you know, how is this LA team that has so much talent, so much promise, that they're, you know, battling, you know, for their playoff lives, basically, is what I'll get at here. But, I mean, tonight's game, though, was just, you know, really the energy level was down. You know, they didn't crank it up, and they didn't really crank up too much about it tonight. So that was one deal this evening, and of course, it's tough, you know, having to play Taurasi and Griner, you know, a two-headed, you know, fire-breathing dragon monster that they both are. That's one deal to go with as well. So, tough way to go down in flames tonight. But again, the Sparks, again, we will use the analogy folks again. You can, we'll just say this: insert your favorite cleaning product, Turtle Wax, Mr. Clean, Clorox, Pine Sol. They basically got wiped the floor clean tonight. Mercury win 93-73. Crystal, we thank you so much for making your comical debut here on the 365 Network. I know that a lot of the viewers, especially Shorty Mamba, loved it. We love it too, and we really do thank you. Thank you for coming on to the Fab Forum tonight. And hey, don't be a stranger. We will hopefully try to do this again sometime very soon. Thank you. Thanks again for joining us.
You're welcome. I'll be back. It was fun. I mean, I have nothing to do sometimes, so it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, like we normally do, Crystal, we'll probably go into an off-air hangout with Shorty perhaps after this. So if you're game for that, we'll see you in a few minutes off-air. But again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll hit you up next time. If you're ever bored again, we'll hit you up and bring you on in.
You're welcome. And yeah, I'll hang on for
All right. So folks, on July 24, 2014, the Phoenix Mercury become the first club to win 20 games this season. The final score again: Phoenix 93, Los Angeles 73. With the win for Phoenix, they now go to 20-3 and have now improved their winning streak, folks, to 14 consecutive. They are 4 away from tying the 0-1 LA Sparks with the longest winning streak in WNBA history. The Sparks with the loss faltered at 10-14, but remain 2 games ahead of the Seattle Storm for 4th place in the WNBA's Western Conference. So, folks, until either tomorrow or Saturday, please have a safe night. Drive home safely, that we're coming, and good night now. This has been the LA Sparks 365 Network. For Crystal Thomas, I'm Cal McClurg. So long, folks. See you guys later. Bye-bye.